into it, I do want to say, I know, this was supposed to be a live. Not unfortunately. Y'all know that, your girl is also, a full-time actor. So sometimes things come up in the daytime that affect my lives. And one of those things was a same-day audition, which rarely happens, but when they do, you got to be ready. So I had to cancel everything for Monday to go and, handle my business. Pray for your girl. Anyway, I also want to address Married to Medicine. I know I said that I will be reviewing that show with my mother. Unfortunately, there's a conflict of interest, so I am unable to do that because I will not be able to be fully honest with you guys. And if I cannot do that, I cannot review it. I normally review shows that I don't have any kind of conflict of interest with, you know what I mean? But with this, it just hits far too close to home for me to be able to talk about it with you honestly in a way where it won't be a problem for your girl later. Not saying that I have anything negative to say. I just can't go into it or I don't feel I can go into it being honest because I feel like I'm going to have to favor certain people and I just don't want to do that. There, here at NikkiStar TV, there is no favoritism. There is also nobody that I do not like except for Chris from Married at First Sight. It's not that I dislike him. I dislike his behavior on the show. But outside of that, I'm fairly neutral and I just really give my opinion of the episode as it airs. I don't, have any favorites. I'm not team this one, team that one. But unfortunately with something like Married to Medicine, I just can't, I just don't feel like I could do that without it being an issue. So I cannot do that. Me and my mother are going to look for other shows that we watch together to review, but Married to Medicine will not be happening here at NikkiStar TV. But I will be live tweeting it. So join me at Twitter at Miss NikkiStar TV. See you there, or be square. I did not want to say that, but what else fits? What else fits? Anyway, let's really get into it. So we opened up this episode with Kenya going through it with Marc again. Now Marc has withdrew the divorce petition because he felt like he was doing it, or he explained to Kenya that he was doing it in retaliation because somebody tried to serve him concerning paternity court. So he was trying to be petty and, filing for divorce to hurt Kenya. These two going back and forth, and of course, the only people that they're hurting is Brooklyn. Yes, they're definitely hurting each other, but Brooklyn is going to feel a brunt of this pain. But they're so busy trying to hurt each other because there's probably some kind of love still there that they're going to inadvertently hurt the child that they feel like they are both protecting. Anyway, he has now withdrew it since he has talked to Kenya. Now they're still married, still trying to work things out. And I'm just like, Kenya, you got to get out of this. You have to get out of this cycle because sometimes he wants you, sometimes he don't. It's confusing. And we all know that a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. Can I get an amen? Amen. Sis, you got to move on. You got to move on. I want you to file for divorce. Mean it, let it stick, and move forward. Get out of this chaotic cycle that you are in with this man and focus on you and your child. I think you stay in it because you want it to work. I think you stay in it because you do not want to raise your child without her father. You want to raise your daughter together, but with this man, it just cannot be. You two don't work. It happens. Get out of this and protect your peace. Drew, y'all know I love Drew on this show. I think that her and her family are a great addition to this show. My issue with Drew, and I've been having this issue with her for a while. Drew, you don't stick to what you do, or you try to gaslight people on the show and act like what you did was not actually what you did, because she invites Kenya out to dinner or lunch because she wants to, basically squash their issues. She feels like there's a problem and she wants to squash it. So she meets with Kenya and she's just like, I don't know where we went wrong. I don't know what the issue is. And Kenya is just like, oh, really? You don't know what the issue is? So she starts naming the things that Drew has done to her, being shady, that she has a problem with. And Drew is just like, no, I didn't do that. We were just talking. Why would you bring up this game, realist and a fakest, and start with her? The game was petty. You were trying to target her, and you did. Own it. I don't know why you do these very blatant things and then say, oh, no, that wasn't what that was. Oh, no, I wasn't doing that. Stand in your mess. Stand in it. It's okay. That's why you were hired for the show. But don't throw a rock and then hide your hand like we didn't see it, like it wasn't filmed. We saw you, Drew. We saw you. Just own it. So the brunch doesn't start off right because Drew is denying everything that she did. So now Kenya is in this place of defense and Drew is this place of delusion. So this brunch is absolutely going nowhere. So Kenya is explaining why she has an issue. Drew is explaining to her why the issue that she has isn't really the issue because she didn't do what she saw her do. So they're just going back and forth, talking over each other. Nothing is really getting done. And I was like over this, right? But then they started fighting in song. That's when they drew me back in. When Drew was like, you won't let me talk. Kenya's like, I let you talk. You're not saying anything relevant. Like, this is what I like about this show. Like the unexpected comedy. This show back in the day used to be top tier comedy. I feel like, or at least I've been feeling that way. This season we're kind of getting back to the fun and the comedy that used to like really set this show apart. I hope they can find it again and I hope they can maintain it because when these ladies are on, they're great. When they're not, seasons after season, this show suffers. So because this is going nowhere, after these two have a fighting musical, they just decide to end it. Kenya's just like, you know what, can I have the bill? And then Drew was like, no, I'll have the bill. And Kenya wants to pay for the whole bill. And Drew was like, no, we'll split it. And in Kenya's confessional, she's like, oh no, broke bees split bills. I'll pay for the whole thing. Well, call me Brokey McBrokey. Call me what you want to, but I'm not paying for a meal I didn't eat, especially if y'all got drinks. Because I have a tendency to have friends who like to drink and I don't. So I didn't know until my friends and I became of age and they were able to order drinks out. And when we would go out, I had no idea how expensive drinks were until we got the bill. And I was like, wow, you're willingly paying that? Okay, well, no, I got water. That's when I became that girl when I found out how much drinks are. So call me Brokey McBrokey. Call me what you want to. I'm not paying for a meal I didn't eat, especially if this person got drinks. The devil is lying, unless I'm treating, which I do before the pandemic. Not anymore. Times is hard. Lord, do it. Lord, do it. Listen, I agree with Drew. If I ain't got it, I'm splitting. Ain't no shame in my game. I'm splitting. So they split the bill, which, let's be honest, these two didn't really pay for it, right? Even if they both used their card and their cards were scanned and the money actually came out of their accounts, they are still writing this off and sending this to the show, and the show is going to reimburse them because one thing I know for sure, they don't pay for their meals, especially when the show is filming them. They don't pay for their meals, they don't pay for their hair and makeup, and they don't pay for their outfits while they're filming during the show. Everything is purchased by them or loaned to them by designers, but a lot of it, especially the confessional looks, a lot of it is written off to the show. Like they give the show their receipts and the budget person in production reimburses them. So let's be very clear about it. Neither Drew nor Kenya paid for this brunch. So I guess they both Brokey McBrokies. This is what I want to say about Kenya though, right? I know that when Drew brought up that one of her issues with her was that, oh, I have a daughter and I wanted to bring my daughter. I will say Kenya got her in her confessional when she was just like, oh, but don't you have two kids? So you wanted to bring your daughter and not your son. So just F your son right and bring your daughter. I was just like, oh, points are being made. I honestly, Drew, I got to be real with you. I don't think it was a problem with you, right? I think it became a problem with you when the rest of the women started vocalizing that they felt some sort of way about Kenya bringing their child and they not being aware. I think then it became an issue for you because we never heard you voice that until now at this brunch with Kenya. Now with Kenya, I want to say this. Yes, it happened a while ago. You guys are not there anymore. But if somebody is telling you that what you did hurt them, what's wrong with it? With acknowledging that, putting your pride aside and fixing it. The thing about it is Kenya doesn't want to fix it with Drew because she doesn't, really care for Drew, and Drew really doesn't hold any power on the show. The reason why I say that is because Kenya was quick to fix it with Kandi, who has status on and off the show, who is a friendship that she doesn't want to lose for very obvious reasons because of her status on and off the show. So I can see her crying to her and wanting to fix it with Kandi because Kandi sat down and cried with her, was just like, what you did was wrong. I have a newborn daughter. I wanted to bring her as well. You never even said that that's something, that was even a possibility. So she sat down and she expressed to Kenya her issues. Kenya heard her loud and clear and apologized. lies. But with everybody else, she does not do the same, because she said later on in the episode, I can fight with people I don't care about, but with people that I do care about, I just cannot do it. And I think that's what happened with her and Kandi. I think she cares about her, of course, as a friend, but I also think that Kandi is a great investment for her, or investment to her, right? So I think that that's a friendship that she just knows that she cannot lose. Drew doesn't really hold any status in her eyes on and off the show. She's new, not really, not really like a huge A-list actress. So it's just like, there's really nothing that you can give to me or enhance my life in any way that Kandi can do. So I'll make sure I never mess up with her, but you, I don't care. So I won't give you the same grace and understanding that I gave Kandi, because you don't matter to me. Because if you could do it for Kandi, why can't you do it to Drew? And it's the same offense. She don't care about her, period. Let's get to Cynthia and this wedding where everything is falling apart at the last minute. Her mother's dress isn't here. People are dropping out. Listen, things always go wrong during a wedding, or, leading up to a wedding. That just happens, right? These things that are happening to you, Cynthia, concerning your wedding are not just normal wedding things. People are dropping out. Things are being delayed because you are selfishly having a wedding in a pandemic. A 300+ guest wedding. This is extremely irresponsible, extremely tasteless. This is why things are falling apart. You should not be doing this. This should not be happening. But you're still going forward. So I don't feel bad that I don't feel bad for you that things are not going well, because what you're doing is extremely selfish and extremely ignorant and extremely irresponsible. So things falling apart on your wedding, I'm not saying good, you deserve it, or that's karma. I'm just saying I really don't give a damn, because this is extremely wrong and inappropriate. You should not be doing this, and I'm never going to go up for this poor decision that you made, especially when our community is the community that is struggling the most with trying to recover from this pandemic. The majority of our community will never recover from this. No other community in this nation, in this globe, has lost as many people as we have to the pandemic, and you decide to have a wedding with almost 400 people. Irresponsible. Irresponsible. So I don't give a damn that your mother's dress isn't here on time. You don't care about the lives that may be lost. So why should I give a damn about this dress? Oh God, let's talk about this leak. Y'all know that I always give a little chuckle when the ladies start, going crazy, because this happens in every housewife show or every reality TV show. There's some kind of leak. Oh my goodness, somebody leaked what happened on this reality show to the press. Like the show doesn't have a PR department. Y'all think we getting these leaks because the production at the Real Housewives of Atlanta is just lackadaisical and there's really no security and nobody really gives a damn about what gets out before the season starts? The devil is a liar. Every show has a PR person, and that PR person works directly with the press. And who are bloggers? Press. But this is a mainly Black cast, right? Page 6 is not something that we go looking for, you know what I mean? Page 6 in the Black community is not on the same level as the Jasmine brand or the Shade Room, right? That would be more of an issue if it was on the Real Housewives of New York or the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Our people do not go to Page 6 for anything, right? So this is pretty much dismissed like it's not a big deal, but there is a leak, right? And somebody's leaking to Page 6. Who the hell on this cast got a connection at Page 6? Not a one. But you know who probably does? The white person that runs PR for this show. Like, come on, guys. This is clearly a leak from the show, which is why Kenya was playing coy in the confessional. Because if she actually leaked it, I don't think she would have played coy at all. I don't even think she would have ran with that little storyline in a confessional. Maybe the person who did this said this to this person. She would have never played with that if she actually did it. The show leaked it, not Kenya. Let's get to Marlo's pumpkin patch, which was a really fun event. I don't think that Marlo is a pumpkin patch girl, but I think because of, the panini, a lot of things have been shut down and they really can't film places that are indoor, but they can film here, right? Because if you notice, even when they meet up for lunch or anything like that. Everything is outside. A lot of their events are outside. So a pumpkin patch is the perfect place to have activities, but also be outside and fulfill the panini restrictions that this show will have. So that's where we're at, a pumpkin patch with Marlo, who does not look comfortable being here, okay? So anyway, what I did want to say about this is that it was just fun shade. There was a lot of fun shade happening here, and the ladies were having a good time, which is what, again, I enjoy and I miss about this show. I will say about LaToya and Drew, they will never be friends, but they will be frenemies forever. Frenemies forever, because as soon as they see each other, they're back on it. They're back on it. Like LaToya is never getting over the fact that Drew said, oh girl, she don't care about marriage. That cut her deep. That cut her deep. And because she has never made a resolution with Drew about that, because they've never really cleared that up, she's going to continue to bring that up because that really hurt her, right? And Drew never got over the stuff that she said about her wig. That hurt her deep. But neither one of them want to admit how deep it hurt them, because they probably don't want the ladies to see their weakness, or they probably just feel like this is something not that important and I don't want to be the girl making a big deal out of it. But if it hurts you, it is important. Talk about it, squash it, and move forward. But I think because they never really had that conversation, because they never really squashed anything, they are always going to be here, which I don't have a problem with because it's good TV. So they will always give us these fun, shady moments, like when Drew looks to LaToya and says, I've never seen you sober. And LaToya looks at Drew and says, oh, I've never seen you with the cute wig. So this is how they will always be, and I'm here for it. They remind me of Kenya and Marlo when they were good. Like, they weren't friends, but they were just giving little shady shots at each other. That's who they remind me of before it got real dark with Kenya and Marlo. Where they were at before was good for TV. Then it just became really dark and uncomfortable. Well, LaToya and Drew was going to be the younger and rebooted version, and baby, I'm here for it. So anyway, the ladies are having a fun day of events at the pumpkin patch. Kenya is still like harboring issues with Drew. Understandable, right? But I will say this about Kenya. She is the epitome of dishing it out, but not being able to take it. Kenya can never take it when anyone matches her energy. She either crumbles like she does with Marc, or she just becomes extremely defensive to the point where it's just like, girl, it's not that big of a deal. Like the situation with Drew. Again, I can't really say this because this is not happening to me. I just feel like Kenya is putting so much more into it than is really necessary. You know, like making LaToya having to take your side on things and making it really uncomfortable for her to build any kind of relationship because you want her to be loyal to you. So that means defending all of the arguments and disagreements that you're in. I kind of feel bad for LaToya. That's not a real comfortable situation to be in, especially when you're new and you're getting to know these people. And this is all because Kenya can dish it, but she can't take it. Mama, as good as you dish it, you should be able to take it. Because you dish it, and you dish it good, which is why you are back on this show every season. We enjoy it, but you gotta be able to take it. You cannot be sore when somebody comes right back at you with what you've done to them and try to make excuses like Drew. Maybe that's the issue. You and Drew are kind of the same in that aspect where you do shady, intentional things to other people, and then when somebody calls you on it, you deny it, you deflect, or you get a little heated and sensitive and you want to either move on or make that person apologize to you for how they made you feel without apologizing for the offense. Are you two more alike than you are not alike? Quite possibly, LaToya, your faux lesbian relationship might be in danger. Let's talk about Porsha arriving 30 minutes after the event is over. I can't even be mad at her because that's me. That is me. I'm going to do better when the world opens up. I promise you. I promise you. But I will say this, right? Porsha lives farther than any of the other housewives. No, who's her neighbor? Is it Drew? You know what? No, Porsha, I can't give you that excuse because I think Drew lives down the street from you. Yeah, you called her neighbor. She made it on time. So there's really no excuse, Porsha, especially if you're showing up late, having hair and makeup done. You could have been there on time. You really could have. Anyway, she shows up 30 minutes late, and I guess because she's here, they have to film something. So the ladies turn on their car lights, and they just film this scene in the dark and this like pumpkin patch. It wouldn't have been me. it wouldn't have been, especially no pitch black pumpkin patch in the South. The devil is a liar. But they filmed this scene with her, and we get this moment where Marlo voices how she feels about the group kind of shunning her because she became friends with Kenya. I will say this, the ladies were gaslighting her. She absolutely feels that way because that's absolutely what's happening to her. Because Marlo said, I feel like now since me and Kenya have made up and like trying to act like they're not actively working on a friendship, she is minimizing their making up and, you know, trying to move forward in something better. She's now saying it's not like that. We just agreed to not beef anymore. But Marlo, you were really trying to bust it up and buddy up with her back at the girls' trip. But now because you're talking to the cool clique and you know that Kenya is an outsider, you're trying to minimize the actual relationship that you were trying to build with Kenya because you feel X'd out of things. And as a friend of the show, if Kenya's not having an event, you need these ladies to invite you to stuff as well. So you're trying to make sure that everybody realizes that you just made that quick makeup with Kenya because you don't want to have any issues, but you're not really her friend. So they still can invite you to stuff because Kenya is not well liked in this group. Remember, she had to ask Candy to host it while Kenya blind hosts the event because she feels like and believes that if she hosted it on her own, a lot of people wouldn't show up. And I think she's right? So Marlo is like, we're not friends like that. We're not even friends. We just made up. And I feel like because of that, you guys are shunning me. They absolutely are because they don't like her and they think that she's messy. And if you're going to be her friend and associate with her, they don't want to be bothered. That's their right. That's their right. Is it childish? Extremely, extremely childish. But it's the reality of the situation. And Marlo, unfortunately for you, you made up with somebody that a lot of people don't like. And the one person that does like them, aside from Cynthia, is not, really rocking with them. She's starting to get on her nerves, especially because she keeps on bringing up this trip. So I don't know, Marlo. I don't know if it's going to go well for you. It seems like next week you and Porsha might get into something. But again, it's a childish reason to not childish, but it's just really childish, the situation where it's like you're going to shun her because she's friends with somebody that you don't really rock with. I get it's because it's mainly for Porsha. You don't want things about your life to, be spoken to, even if it's by accident to somebody you don't really rock with. I totally understand that. But to make a grown adult choose, I don't know. It's just a tough situation to be in because you're befriending two people who hate each other. So unfortunately, in this situation, it's very childish, but Marlo has to choose. And I don't know if she wants to be able to be invited to stuff, if she chose correctly. Only time will tell. So I don't really want to talk about Kenya's therapy because it's like, I honestly feel like we should never see anything like that. We should never see you sit down with your therapist. That's just my opinion. I feel the same way about The Bachelor, where he sat down with his father and he had that conversation about how he abandoned him and cheated on his mom. Some stuff we don't need to see. We need to see like a lot of intimate things. So I'm not really going to speak on that. The one thing that I do want to speak on is that Kenya, you did not date that man that was 10 years older than you. He was a predator. You were being groomed by him. And if he laid down with you, he assaulted you, honey. You're 15 years old. There is no way that you have the mental capacity to date a man that is damn near 30. You were groomed. And if he laid with you, he assaulted you, sis. I don't know why the therapist did not stop there and try to unpack that, because that was a lot for me. I was like, oh no, you didn't date him. And then he physically abused her as well. So there was a lot in just those two sentences, and the therapist just really skipped over. My guess is that she probably didn't want to talk about that with her on camera. But girl, she said it and you just skipped over it. So maybe you should have said, oh, we'll talk about this later, not right now, something. But as a viewer, I'm watching a therapist listen to somebody say some really alarming things, and you just skip right over it and go to something really light, like her relationship with Marc. And not that it's like a light situation, but it's a lot lighter than what she has just mentioned. I was like, dated a man that was 10 years older than you and you were 15. That's not dating. That's to catch a predator. So we actually end with Kenya in therapy expressing her pain. And, that's where she talks about how she can fight with people that she does not like and does not care about. But she can't really do that with Marc or her mom because she loves them and she cares about them and she wants them in her life. And you see just that Kenya's had a really hard life. A life where she spent a lot of time fighting, which is probably why she's so good at it, right? unfortunately, right, as you watch the therapist give her these tools to apply to her life, you know that she will not apply them to the show because, yet again, unfortunately, she gets paid to be a mean girl. So there's no way that she can apply these tools to the relationships that she has with the ladies on this show while filming this show and while being a part of this process, because the character she plays is someone who cannot utilize those tools while working this job. So we'll probably never get to see that side of her. Remember, last season, she was a lot softer and the network was not into it. The network was not into it. So they made her come back this way. And even now, she's still not where she used to be, but she's kind of getting there in some ways. But again, job is still in jeopardy if you're not the one provoking people to madness, which is why they hired you. So that's the sad part about it. We'll never see her apply these tools to the relationships that she has on the show. And a lot of people only know her from this. Sad all around. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with this episode. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you want to chat about what happened in the episode, hit your girl down in the comment section at me if you like, and we will get it on and hop in talking about this episode. Thank you so much for stopping by NikkiStar TV, and I will see you soon for something else. What probably will be next? Probably Married at First Sight or the Harry and Meghan interview with Oprah. Were you silent or silenced? She's so good. Anyway, love you guys. See you soon. Bye.